Da-da-da-da-da-da. I've been messaged again.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to the Speed Gaming Marathon for No Kid Hungry. My name is huds601. I am here to bring you guys some Sonic 3 Air speedrunning. So, first of all, what is Sonic 3 Air? Sonic 3 Air stands for Angel Island Revisited, and it's a fan-made remaster of the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the Sega Genesis. What does it feature though? Well, it features quality of life updates. So we've got things such as widescreen support. We have various bug fixes in this. They've patched a load of the glitches that we used to use in the original classic game on the Genesis/Mega Drive. So we've had to find new and creative ways to do some of those. We have brand new features in here such as the drop dash and the peel out. We got Tails flight assist from Sonic Mania, in-game menuing, cutscene skips, loads more. And we're also running this on a brand new version that only came out 5 days ago, which has a few extra little cutscene skips for us. So we're going to get into the run in just a second. Two things before that. First of all, I'd love to introduce to you my co-commentator. She is the world record holder for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Knuckles All Emeralds Glitchless, Beat the Game Glitchless, New Game Plus Glitchless, and Sonic and Knuckles All Emeralds Glitchless as well, amongst various other world records. And she is someone who can even out West Country myself. Please, everyone, give it up for Alice. Welcome.
Hello, good to be here. Apparently we were live sooner than I thought, so I hope you all appreciated me discussing my plans to buy a new desk. And yeah, it's gonna be a great run. Looking forward to it.
Catching us by surprise. Now, I believe we may have had an incentive for this one. So, Todd, are you there at the moment? Can you hear us?
I am.
Fantastic. I think we had an incentive for this one on using a funk and rock music mod for this. I'm just wondering if that incentive got met at all.
Unfortunately, it looks like we were just short of it.
Oh, that's a shame. It's okay, though. I mean, it's some nice music, but we'll put that to one side for now. We've got the enhanced pack on instead, so you're going to hear all the original game music, but it's a couple of remixes, a couple of enhanced modern versions for you also. It's better than nothing, I suppose. I'm just going to check that everything's ready where I need it to be, which it looks good. So, I'm ready to get going. Alice, are you ready?
I am ready.
Todd, are you ready? I'll take that as a yes. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. So AI1, immediately we're going to see HUDs going for the top route here. Top route is the fastest route for all of the characters in this game, and you're going to see him picking up their speed shoes and very quickly getting a fire shield, which is going to be just over this enemy here. The fire shield is particularly important for Sonic because his unique attribute in this game and in the original S3K is that he gets special abilities from the elemental shields. So fire shield, you're going to see him get this fire dash, and we're also going to see a lightning bounce and a bubble shield bounce from those respective shields. They also give you immunity to certain damage effects, which we'll see come into play a bit later. So obviously finishing off the, well, not even finishing it off, that's like a scripted battle there. HUD's using the fire shield to traverse through Act 1. We're not going to see any glitches in AI1, but there's going to be plenty coming up in the rest of the game. And we're going to be moving on to the first boss. So in the first boss, he's got the little flame jets in the bottom, and having the fire shield means you can just keep hitting him from underneath like this. Normally, the little fire jets would be hurting you there, but you can just go straight through thanks to your shield. Here's the next shield is what you're going to be seeing, the bubble shield. We make a little bit of use of the bubble bounce in this part of the game, and also it makes you immune to drowning, so you don't have to hear that horrible drowning music that everyone remembers so fondly from their childhood. A little bit of a setup here as well. By spinning on top of a destructible ledge like that, you can maintain the spin dash and release it as soon as you hit the ground for a little bit of extra efficiency. Coming up here as well, we should see the bubble shield bounce straight up to this one, and you can move on through, press this button, and lower the water level to progress the stage.
Helps when you actually press the button, though.
Yes, it does.
It's a little swag
lovely
jump
bubble
there.
shield bounce there.
I love that jump. It's one of my favourites.
It's so good. Yeah, you need to get like just the right height, but when it goes well, it's perfect. So yeah, another glitchless stage here is AI2. Making good use of the lightning shield there to progress. And we're going to be picking up the... Oh, we're not. No, sorry. My bad. Other characters do that. I play too many characters in this game. I get really mixed up.
Yeah, you can pick up the fire shield there if you want to. I prefer to just keep the lightning shield. The main reason we'll need it is that for a quick kill on the boss, we are over a death pit, so we'll need to actually move out of the way afterwards. Notice as well, in this bombing cutscene in Sonic 3 Air, it's no longer just an auto-scroller. You do have to avoid the bombs, but it is a little bit faster by doing it that way. You can have the original if you want to. You can change that in the settings. We keep it on the air layout because it is a bit faster.
Absolutely. So lining up for this kill on the boss here, you want to land in between those two fire cannons. If you're too far over one of them when it fires, you will get hit. Fire shield does make you immune to that, but it's obviously a bit slower to go for. And the lightning shield also lets you get right up to the top of the screen there to hit that capsule. Lovely quick kill for HUDs there.
So, first instance of menuing, going to exit the game and go back into the game. So it just saves us a little time skipping the cutscene at the end of the level. And we're going to use Tails' flight assist here that we've brought over from Sonic Mania in order to actually take the top route, which is around about 5 to 8 seconds faster.
Yeah, usually this would be reserved for Knuckles and Tails in the original game, but Sonic can do it just fine with Tails' help in this one as well. Although the main bulk of this stage is going to be glitchless, we are going to be seeing the first instance of a particularly tricky glitch in this game called FPR, or Frame Perfect Reset, which we'll do a bit of explaining for when we get closer. Meanwhile, HUDs is going to be doing some lovely platforming, picking up the lightning shield just to make this jump a tiny bit easier. It's kind of it's not necessarily a time save over not getting it, but it's just easier and is the same time, so why would you not do it? That's kind of the rationale there. Going for a setup on the boss here to try and get hits above the stage. Lovely so far.
I think we got
3 hits,
4
not
there.
too bad. Oh, was it 4? Lovely, good stuff.
It was.
There
nice.
we go.
Okay.
Lovely, lovely stuff. 55, very solid time for Sonic on this stage.
So we're going to try for our first glitch here. It is frame perfect. It's very difficult to do, so we'll try and go for it and see what happens. If we get it, we can explain after. Oh, I think I'm a frame early. I am a frame early. No!
Oh, very sad. So early is the frame you don't want on that one. HUDs is trying to reset at a specific frame. If he's too late, he enters Act 2. If he's too early, he goes back to the checkpoint in Act 1, which is the slowest mistake you could make. If he's bang on, he will get to repeat Act 1, but the game will think that it is Act 2, which is going to give him, in certain stages, quite a bit of time save, because Act 1 is substantially faster for Sonic and Tails. Are we going to go for it again?
We'll try it one more time. It's not too much of a time loss in Hydro. Right. Oh, I missed it anyway. It's fine.
Ah, unfortunate.
That's a shame. It is one of the hardest tricks to do, so it's not a surprise. We do have a backup here, though, in Hydro 2. We can just clip through down the bottom here and skip about half the stage instead with the wall clip.
Yeah, one change from Sonic 3 and Knuckles in this game is that you can't level wrap. It is impossible to leave the level barrier to the left of the stage and underflow your X coordinate like you would do in S3K. However, you can still enter the terrain in the same spot there. Lovely bounce off the enemy to get that bubble shield, by the way. Managing to get onto the top path. Very, very good stuff. But yeah, so although you can't level wrap from that position like you would do in S3K, you can still zip to the other direction and just skip a bit of the stage. Very good. Also, those barriers are just a suggestion. They're actually somewhat notorious and glitchless because you can fall through them by accident. HUD's there knowing the cycles off by heart with the stage timer, so knowing he can just hold right to go under those pillars. They are level-based, so you have to know where they are all the way through the stage.
Always know your cycles. So important.
Except me, I pause buffer because I'm lazy. Also, HUD's intentionally losing the bubble shield there because he's going to go for the insta-shield hits on this boss. This makes the boss a bit more consistent and faster.
Tails getting a few hits in for me. Thanks, Tails.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I noticed you didn't go for the zombie glitch on Tails either. Thank you.
I'll be honest, I was distracted to do it. Right, so coming out again, I'm just going to change my control settings and going into Marble Garden. This is where we're going to see the first real big glitch of the game. So we're going to actually be attempting here to fight the Marble Garden 2 boss in Marble Garden 1 and skip Marble Garden 2 entirely. So, Edith, I'll let you explain this as we go through what I'm doing.
Yeah, so very briefly before we get onto the glitch, the sounds you are hearing are the Colin Enhancement Pack, a sound pack made by RPG Hidden Wizard using just his own voice. So it is fantastic. One of the benefits of Sonic 3 Air is you get to use all of these cool music and sound mods, and it's a very flexible game. It gives you a lot of options of how you want to play the game, even from a speedrunning perspective. So that was a glitch there. Taking the blue spinning top into that oil drops you down to this path. That's only a small time save, though. The big one is now to come. Because in this game, if an object you are stood on gets destroyed while you are stood on it, you will get something called slope glitch. So HUDs is setting up for it here, and Tails is going to break this pillar. And HUDs now has slope glitch, which means his physics are really broken. His trajectory is basically going to continue along whatever flat surface he lands on, and he can use that to build up speed and run through walls and go through like slanted terrain like this as well. And he is now in what we call the overflow area. This is an area of terrain that the game creates out of kind of garbled code that isn't meant to be code. and basically it kind of takes the level data from previously, and we're in the Act 2 boss. We've reached the screen area where the Act 2 boss is supposed to be, but in Act 1. And now, by spin dashing in this exact position, HUDs can finish off the boss for Act 2 in Act 1 and progress to Carnival Night without ever seeing Act 2. It is substantially faster than doing Act 2, as you can imagine, and it's actually possible in S3K, just with a different glitch rather than slope glitch. It's also very important that HUDs lines up here so that he can hit this capsule. If he misses it, he will fall down and it will end up soft-locked. And then he needs Tails to grab him to finish it off, and that was absolutely perfect. Textbook Marble Garden 1.
Thanks. One of the few places as well in this run where you get a few seconds to take a drink, so I just hydrated. Always got to stay hydrated as speedrunners.
Absolutely. So now we're into Carnival Night 1. Carnival Night 1, I don't think has been broken.
Not yet.
I think it is still played, not yet.
Give us time.
It is still played glitchless, and this is another stage where FPR comes in handy. Because although there are glitches in Act 2, they are quite difficult, and they are also not faster than just doing Act 1 twice. So hopefully we're going to see some FPR and get Act 1 again. If not, you get to see some cool glitches in Act 2. It's a win-win.
I mean, depends which side of the controller you're sitting on, in all honesty.
Very true, very true. I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd much rather get FPR, but again, it is such a hard trick to pull off that, yeah, we do have some backups in Carnival Night 2, but they are pretty tricky to pull off.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd almost always rather do Act 1 again. So this is an interesting strat with the boss. This spinning top that you're seeing it hit itself with is locked by the screen barrier at the top. So by lowering and raising the camera, you can manipulate its path. So HUDs was crouching there to lower the camera down so that it would hit the boss in exactly the way he wants it to. And now you'll also see him doing it to make the signpost spawn lower. So you have to wait less time for the signpost to land. Saves a good second or two. Here we go for the FPR.
Yeah.
Perfect stuff. Well done. So that is what it looks like. We now have the music for Act 2, but we are in Act 1. The game thinks it's Act 2, and by quitting out via the menu, HUDs is going to be able to have the game class beating this as Act 2 and move on to Ice Cap. I think there are 4 instances where it's important for Sonic and Tails, but other characters obviously have different routes, and they may have more or less depending on the category and character you're playing. I think for Tails it's like half the game now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for the other characters it can be a lot more. For Sonic and Tails, it's definitely 3 where it's worthwhile. Hydrocity or Hydro City? I'm not going to start that debate today.
I am. It's Hydro City. Anyway, carry on.
It's definitely Hydrocity. Where it saves around about 15 seconds. Carnival Night here, where it saves around about 20 seconds over a perfect Carnival Night 2. Sando 1, depending on how well you can do the glitches in Sando 2, it can save a whole heap of time. I can't believe that just escaped on me.
Yeah, you got the backup though. Looking up to give it more space to hit the thing.
But yeah, like depending on how well you can do Sando 2, it works out to be roughly the same sort of time. I personally tried to do it. Death Egg at the end of the run is the most important one. That can save upwards of 2 minutes. So that's the one you really need to get. But you can see here, we've just done Act 1, but the game thinks it's Act 2. We wait for time bonus to complete, we exit back out, we go back in, and oh look, here's Ice Cap. Simple as that. Todd, if you've got any messages or anything, or any potential donations you might want to read out, now's a fantastic time. We've got about 20 seconds here.
I was hitting the wrong. We do actually have a $5 donation here from Anonymous. Anonymous, we appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Adis, over to you.
So, in Ice Cap, we're going to be seeing Slope Glitch again. It's a glitch that's possible in a lot of places, and if level wraps didn't exist in OG S3K, you would see it a lot more frequently. So since they don't exist in this game, you see it a lot. HUDs has gotten Slope Glitch by having the wall that ice block break underneath him, and he's now using it with a very specific setup on these slopes to traverse the stage in this like very zippy sideways momentum position. It should allow him to go straight into Knuckles' path. Perfect. That's what you want to see. And now down into the boss arena.
Perfect.
Tails hasn't quite shown up yet to help HUDs with the boss, but because you're in Knuckles' path, you can hit the boss straight away. You don't need to wait.
No! There we go, good.
Because obviously Knuckles has a lower jump height, they made the boss slightly lower down, and then it doesn't matter that you're in Knuckles' path, because you can use the reset to get back up to Sonic's path.
Yeah, menuing is definitely a strat in this game, but yeah, so we start Act 2, we'll just restart the act, and now we're in Act 2, but we're in Sonic's path, which is where we want to be. Act 2 done glitchless. We're going to grab the lightning shield at the beginning, we're going to take the top path for the fastest route through this.
Yeah, this is in OG, this is another stage where you would skip the entirety of Act 2, but since we can't do that in S3 Air, we get a lovely glitchless stage, and it's very cool platforming. This is a stage I'm usually very happy to do glitchless. It's a really cool one.
I love this stage. It's one of my absolute favourites to run glitchless. But yeah, the developer knew about the fact that we were skipping Act 2 in the Classic and going straight into launch base, so actually added effectively like a complete hard barrier between Act 1 and Act 2 to prevent us from doing that. You know, which is his prerogative to do.
Yeah, exactly. And even if that wasn't the case, I think you can't perform the level wrap anyway, so like it's super unavailable. Losing the lightning shield there, slightly unfortunate, but with Tails to help you, not too much of a problem. You can still get exactly the same speed of kill on the boss. Solo Sonic would make very heavy use of the lightning shield here, but Sonic and Tails can just do this strat to bounce on top.
Okay, so coming up next we got Launch Base. This also has a frame perfect trick in it. It tends to go one of two ways. We either get it first time or we end up in Launch Base hell and we get stuck there forever. So we'll see.
Yeah, this is the one that people come up against the first time they start learning this game and really have to sink their teeth into it and really get to grips with how the trick works, because it is a tricky one. So by entering this capsule in the way that HUDs did, it gives him a chance to get a frame-perfect jump out of the capsule when it ejects him like that. So approaching at a consistent speed from a certain point of the level gives you the ejection, and then jumping out frame-perfectly is what gives you Slope Glitch. And we're going to use that to skip Act 2 using Knuckles as boss. There's a lot of moving parts to it, so we'll hopefully get to see HUDs get... There it is, Slope Glitch, fantastic. When Sonic is doing that teacher animation, he is in Slope Glitch. So now HUDs is going to pick himself up with Tails and fly all the way up here, and then at a specific point, he's going to jump down and set his momentum up on the slope to the left, just like that. Lovely. And now we're going to see him traverse the stage through the Slope Glitch state, controlling his speed very carefully to make sure he doesn't go too fast and drop through the terrain, and then slowing himself down right before the room, and this is fine, lovely. You can get straight into the room, but this is just as good of a strat. You just want to get to this point here. HUD's now setting up for a very specific boss kill here. Usually, Sonic and Tails, respectively, would only fight one of these bosses. However, because Knuckles would fight two, and we're in Knuckles' boss area, we get both of them. Because we've killed one now, and because they normally only fight one, the game thinks that we've finished Act 1. But we still have a boss floating around, and the boss is still classed as a boss by the game, which means that the game is going to assume that you've beaten an act when you beat this one.
Ooh, that was so tight.
It was very tight. I was slightly worried, but you've got this, HUDs. It's all good. And there we go. Now the game thinks that Act 2 has been beaten by beating a boss, and the Peacock, the best swag strat in the history of Sonic 3 speedrunning.
Run is valid.
Yes, if you do not get Peacock, your run is invalid, regardless of how necessary it actually is, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot begin to explain just how tight that was on the timing there. Killed the boss just after 1 minute, which affects the time bonus. You have to finish off Launch Base, effectively Launch Base 1, at a very specific cycle for that boss to know if it's going to kill you before you have a chance to move in Act 2. And that was pretty much as close as I could have cut it without actually getting hit and dying. So, yeah. Yeah,
that was literally the frame before it would have failed, I think.
Yeah, that was really close.
Pretty crazy.
I'll be honest, I haven't done it that close in a while.
So Mushroom Hill 1 is a stage with a lot of options.
Whoops.
Even if, like, so HUDs, for example, has dropped down to not the path he wants to be on, but it is still a perfectly valid path, because so long as you know your backups in this stage, you can progress without losing too much time. It's just one of those stages. All of the paths are relatively similar, so you can cross between them relatively freely and only lose a few seconds. There is a glitch that can be performed here by killing the boss early before it reaches its proper destination for the boss, like when it's in transit between this state and the next one. However, it is incredibly difficult, and the follow-up to it in Act 2 is also incredibly difficult, and it only saves 15 seconds, and if it goes wrong, it can really lose you time. So HUD's taking the more sensible strat to just play the level normally.
Yeah, grabbing the fire shield on the way through, it just makes a jump at the beginning of Mushroom Hill 2 a little bit easier, but yeah, I opt to do these ones glitchless. The glitch for this, while possible, is very hard to do. So, going to take the top route here. Thanks. Going to take the top route, use the fire shield just to skip most of that loop. grab the bottom, onto the spring, up the top, jump over the gap, and then that's where you need the fire shield. It just makes that little jump over all that much easier.
It's really messing with me seeing runs that don't go for emeralds now. I've been doing all emeralds too much. Like, just seeing you go past these special rings, I'm like, no, Huds, go back.
We need to collect the emeralds.
You need to do that. Robotnik's going to tell you to try again.
Let's do the strat.
Here, Huds is going to go onto this pulley. The pulley's faster in air than it is in OG. Not that Sonic has an option, but other characters would use the pulley as well in this game, regardless of their mobility options.
Got the quick hits, yeah. Beautiful.
Lovely. So by hitting the boss and then using the fire shield immediately, Huds can basically cancel the momentum he gets in the opposite direction and go back forwards, which is going to let him go straight back into the boss and get those bounce hits for a very quick boss kill. Lovely stuff.
Okay, so coming up on Flying Battery, we're going to have 3 glitches in this, 2 during the level, 1 is a setup for Flying Battery 2. So at the beginning, we're going to take intentional damage and do what's called a platform clip. So we're going to use the way the platform's designed to actually clip us into this wall on the right here. So I'm going to hold left, take intentional damage off the badnik, grab a ring, take intentional damage again, spin dash under, and jump, and in the wall we are, and we just skipped all the underside section.
Much trickier than it looks.
Next, we're going to see the first instance in this run in particular of the partner clip. Whoops. Try that again. So, get Tails flying. We're going to look up. We're then going to grab Tails at the bottom of his jump, if I do that correctly, and not peel out. And this should, if I've done that right, there we go, clip us into the wall. And now come down the bottom. So, Adis, while I'm doing the rest of the level, do you want to just explain why the partner clip works? What actually just happened there?
Yeah, so essentially, although like objects like these platforms and everything are loaded off the screen, their hitboxes aren't. So the game saves memory by just not having hit detection data for those elements while they're not visible to the player. So by taking it off screen, you essentially remove all collision from the object. This means that when Tails drops Sonic down and the camera is locked up, Sonic drops into it, and then when the camera comes back down, the collision data reloads, and then Sonic is pushed out of it. So essentially, you get yourself into the space where the pillar is, and then it pushes you into the wall. There are a number of places where that can be done. Some even without using partners, you can just scroll the screen yourself. And I think it's how it's on the same vein of how like vertical wrapping works, in that although that's more to do with confusing coordinates actually, so ignore that. But yeah, this boss is an auto-scroller. Not a hugely interesting one, but he's going to let us get a setup for Slope Glitch for the next stage, which is very cool.
He does have a cute name, though. We affectionately refer to him now as Mr. Tickles.
Just the pure look of unadulterated rage on his face as he just can't get you that always gets me. He's just like, oh god, missed him again. Come back.
So we got Slope Glitch again by standing on him as he was defeated and it changed sprites. We're going to use this now to hopefully skip almost all of Flying Battery Act 2.
Yeah, so it's important now, because when you have Slope Glitch, if you touch any, like, I think it's sprite-based objects, then you will lose Slope Glitch. So it's important that Huds doesn't touch the inside of that purple tube. It's important he doesn't bounce on that spring or this spring coming up. So he's got to be very careful with this movement. But when he gets himself up here, he's going to be able to use it to get momentum and go through this slope here. And now he's on top of the stage, and he's controlling his speed very similar to in Launch Base. And he's just going to ignore the whole stage and go to the boss area at the end. There we go, lovely stuff. The clouds are a little bit confused, but I'm sure they'll get the picture at some point. They'll work out that they're supposed to be clouds and not the interior of the stage. Probably after we're gone, though, to be honest. I never actually pay that much attention to them.
So just waiting for the platform to catch up. Another nice little change the developer made. When you do reach the end, the platform here goes much faster than it does in the original, so it saves us around about 8 to 10 seconds on waiting for that to come up.
Absolute luxury. Absolute luxury change. I have to wait so long for that.
4, 5,
it's not fair.
7, 8. Just counting 9 movements, and then we make the jump. And that's the boss done.
There we go. Lovely kill on the boss there. Really nice setup.
And the 4, 5, 6 just for fun. Okay, so coming up to Sando 1 next. By far my favourite level. Completely glitchless in this. We don't skip any of this. But it is heavily cycle-based. So there's going to be loads of these moving kind of crushers. There's one here. They're going kind of 3-second cycles up and down. So it takes 3 seconds to come up, then another 3 seconds to go back down. And those basically determine how fast you can go through this level. One of my favorites, it's incredibly technical. It will test a runner's skill of pretty much every kind of aspect of their speedrunning. But yeah, we'll just enjoy this one, and I'll say, Todd, if you've got any more messages to read, you've got around about a minute or so if you want to.
Hit the wrong button again. Okay. So no donations at the moment, but we can take a moment and talk about No Kid Hungry.
Please do.
And how they help to develop a map to help families easily find free meals for their kids. All you have to do is enter your zip code, and you can find school meal sites, food banks, and more serving food near you. If you want more information, visit nokidhungry.org.
Thank you very much. So this is... Oh, go on. Sorry, let's carry on.
I was just going to say, like, where you mentioned the cycles, it does make the stage very unforgiving, and it kind of means that any mistake loses you 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Even, like, very small ones sometimes, depending on the character. Like, with Knuckles, for example, you cannot make a mistake. You will lose 6 seconds. Very unforgiving. And now we're on another auto-scroller boss, kind of, except not really in air, because you have the new physics on the boss.
Yeah,
Usually
so...
you have to wait for this guy to jump over, but...
So yeah, in the summer update last year, the July update last year, they changed the way that the Guardian here works. So when you actually hit him, he now slides along the floor. I'm a bit late on my strat there. Oops. So you see he slides along the floor, and it means that if you do this particular damage boost strat perfectly, which I've already screwed up, you can get him into the sand in just 2 cycles. Oh, there you go. Managed it.
Just
All
like
good.
that.
So here we're going to go for another instance of FPR, because I can't stand Sando 2. The tricks are really difficult, and it's much easier to do FPR, but we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Fun fact about FPR, it was actually discovered in Sando 1 by 3Gotistical during a Sando 100 race.
I don't believe it. Frame early again.
Oh, unfortunate.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's gonna be a big time loss.
HUDs. I feel now we're doing the boss again. We should go into the history of the Sando 100 and the Sando 8.
Oh no.
So, when HUDs was first learning this game, wide-eyed and impressionable young speedrunner that he was trying to do the original form of Act 2 skip, which was on a previous version of the game. You could just reset at any point during the cutscene, and it would repeat Act 1 as Act 2. Much, much easier, right? However, HUDs did this incorrectly 8 times in a row and ended up doing Sando 1 8 times in his speedrun.
Yeah.
Ever since then, the Sando 8 has become a meme, and HUDs has fully embraced this and made a category called the Sando 8, where you run Sando 1 8 times, also featuring, like, particularly hilarious interpretations like the Sando 100, and I think you did the Sando 500 recently?
It'll be soon. So we've done the Sando 8 and the Sando 100, and yeah, the original trick, the original FPR was discovered, I think it was on run 98 of 3Gotistical doing the Sando 100 as a kind of a New Year's celebration. But yes, very soon I will be doing the Sando 601, so it's basically the 24 hours of Sando.
It's going to be horrific in a good way.
So unfortunately missing FPR there, so we are going to run Sando 2, which means, yay, we get to do some more glitches. So the first one's coming up now. This is just a floor clip, so we're just going to jump, hold left, and I may have screwed that up. Nope, we're good. And we just clip through the floor. The next one's a loop clip, and this one is probably the one I find hardest in the game. We need the lightning shield for this, and we are pretty much looking to do a near frame perfect lightning jump to get us into the wall. So I'm just going to concentrate on this second because it's the one I find hardest.
Yeah, so there is a position in this wall where the because the barrier is here, they didn't think anyone would walk there, so there's just no collision. And by getting in there second try, by the way, that was phenomenal by HUDs.
That almost never happens for me.
You can climb up in this terrain and just bypass the whole rising sand section, which particularly for Sonic is very slow. HUD's now setting it for another partner clip. He's going to do the partner clip through this pillar here, just pushing himself through. That one, however, is not by deloading the object. That one is just if Tails is holding you while an object pushes up, Sonic doesn't have anywhere to go, and you can just squish him through the side of the hitbox there. Now HUDs is setting up for a very specific route through this sand. Normally you're not meant to approach the sand from this side, and he's trying to get into that sandfall from below. This is absolutely worth doing, even if it seems quite slow, because what it's going to allow him to do is have a very specific setup on the boss there. Oh, did you jump too high there?
Just too high. That was the last moment, pretty much. Yeah, I lost my lightning shield and it messed up my jump, so it's all right.
Very unfortunate, yeah. So That would have made the boss very trivial. It's all right, though. You can still fight the boss. It's just slightly slower to go without. But the way it works is if you jump too high in that section, for whatever reason, it affects the level state. And I'm not entirely sure the specifics of that one, but yeah, so the boss will now function normally instead of the way that HUDs wanted it to.
Thinking I have the lightning shield still.
Oh, yeah, the muscle memory.
Yeah.
One big disadvantage of Sonic in Sonic speedrunning, for this game particularly, is that when he loses those elemental shields, he loses the extra jump abilities, and when they're in your route, they can be quite important.
To be honest though, second try loop clip, I will more than happily take that, and that's Sando 2 done and out the way, which like I said, the loop clip is probably the one that I find toughest out of all of them. So yeah, I'm really happy with that Sando 2. It's going alright. And now we're into Lava Reef. This is where we're going to see probably the final set of real glitches in this game, apart from another instance of FPR near the end. And this first trick that I'm about to set up for a floor clip is one you guys can definitely do at home if you want to try this. If you want to do your first ever glitch, here's how we do it. We're just going to stand on the right side here in a particular spot. We're going to do a full jump and then press right. And it's as easy as that, and you fall through the floor.
Yeah, interesting about pressing right, because that's something we've not talked about, is when Sonic is in the wall, the game is trying to push you out the wall, and it's like, how do we get a player out of the wall? Well, if they try and walk into the wall, we push them out with a lot of speed, so we push them in the opposite direction. So what this means is that if you're inside a wall, you can go backwards, and you will travel very fast in the direction you actually want to go. So you can see it there, Sonic just zipping through that lava because he's slightly in the wall, and you press right to travel left. That's also been utilized in other stages, but I didn't quite get around to talking about it. Lovely jump there to fire charge into that button. Just optimize that movement a bit. And now HUDs has set that platform to a specific height so that he can spin dash through, and as you can see, drop through the floor right there. And now we're going to use Tails. Basically, this lava doesn't really know what to do if Tails flies Sonic into it. So what's going to happen is the lava's going to rise, and Sonic is just going to go through the lava and end up in here. We're now down in Knuckles' path. And Knuckles' path is not where Sonic is supposed to be, obviously. But even if you were to do that glitch with Knuckles and go from Sonic's path to Knuckles' path, the same glitch state would occur. The game just doesn't want you to enter this path from where we did. And that's going to give us some very unique properties for the setup into the next act. So just progressing through Knuckles' path here, something's going to look a bit odd in a minute. As we come around to this next corner, we'll see there is no background anymore. So that kind of indicates that you've got the glitch to work, and we're going to see what happens when this boss is dead. HUD's setting up for the quick kill on these tentacles. Spin dashing straight across, you're getting a one cycle very easily. Insta-shield for Sonic makes that no problem whatsoever. And now the big hand, just waiting for it to drop down, jumping at the right time and getting 3 hits each cycle.
1, 2... So you used to have to be really careful going through Knuckles' area in this game because there was a wrong warp known as the comp mode warp, whereby if you were to spin dash or go too fast in certain areas, we weren't exactly 100% sure what caused it, the game memory would kind of glitch out and warp you into competition mode out of nowhere. It's always been said that you're not a true Sonic 3 Air speedrunner until you get comp mode at least once. In this latest version, though, it has finally been patched. They figured out exactly what was going wrong in memory and patched it. So comp mode is sadly no more. That being said, Alice, do you want to just explain what's going on here? Why am I fighting Heat Arm again?
So basically, by performing that glitch, it causes, I think because we're not in the boss area that the game expects us to be in, the screen isn't locked, which means that you can travel in the opposite direction after beating the boss. Because there's a checkpoint right there, you can go and reset it, and then even though the game thinks you're now in Act 2, you will be reloaded with the boss and everything, and then you can beat the boss again. And it's similar to beating the boss twice in Act 1 of Launch Base to beat Act 2. So yeah, it just allows you to reload the boss and use it to clear Act 2. It's a very swift strat. Into Hidden Palace, where absolutely no violence against echidnas occurs at all. I refuse to acknowledge that Knuckles is beaten. He is the best boy.
We're just going to give him some love pats.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just going to give him... You're going to give him a good old pat on the back.
Exactly.
You know, for all the good work that he does. Also, talking about comp mode, my first comp mode was like in the middle of a all characters run, which is about 4 hours, so slightly traumatic.
Knuckles just getting bopped. Sorry, Tails just getting bopped.
I don't know what you're talking about. There was no violence at all happening right there. Oh look, it's Knuckles. Where did he come from? He's here now.
So this is one of the new cutscenes we can fast forward in its entirety in this latest version, which saves us around about 30 seconds, give or take.
Yeah, that's much quicker than watching the cutscene for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I'm seeing that some divided opinions about the sound effects in chat. You don't have to have these. Don't worry. The default game has the original sound effects from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. These are an additional pack that has been added. You do not have to have them.
We just thought we'd have some fun with it. So another quick cutscene skip here. That's also brand new in this version, skipping the first kind of 20 seconds of Sky Sanctuary. Always grateful for free time save in a speedrun. And now we're pretty much gonna skip most of this stage by making good use of our friend Tails here. We're going to use the flight assist, and basically this is a vertical stage. Rather than going from left to right, we're trying to go from bottom to top, which is helpful when we have a character that can fly upwards. So there's usually 3 bosses in this stage. The first one is kind of an homage to Green Hill Zone in Sonic 1. The second one being an homage to the Metro 3 boss in Sonic 2, and we're going to skip both of those by just going up, and we're going to fight Mecha Sonic at the top. So taking a very specific route here, knowing that we only have 8 seconds of Tails flight assist. Gonna land him just here, fly up again, and I'm just gonna go for a little lightning jump here just to skip a section. Right there.
Beautiful jump.
Ooh, try not to get crushed by that.
Yeah, you can get crushed by that. It's very unfortunate. Hud's getting a nice little jump off of that spring as well, just to cut that corner and get up to the boss extra quick. Hud's probably going to lose a lightning shield on purpose here, just to, 1, set himself up with the position, and 2, to get the insta-shield, because it makes this boss fight a lot quicker. This boss fight is RNG. Depending on whether he faces you or turns around determines how many hits you can get, and also whether he's going to charge across the screen or not. So, not the best RNG, but still a very smooth kill for Huds.
So now we're going to go into Death Egg, and we have Death Egg 1 here. So this is where, hopefully, we may get our last instance of FPR at the end, the frame perfect reset, if we can get it after defeating Red Eye. Like I said at the beginning, it's around about a 2 to a 2.5 minute time save on the run itself. If we do get it, it does mean we get a bit of an anticlimactic end. We'll fight Red Eye twice to finish the game. If we don't get it, we will get the true ending with the true credits. So we'll see how we go. But first off, I'm just running through the entire stage glitchless. There's no other glitches in Death Egg 1. But one of the things you may have noticed is that we're taking, or we have taken, a bit of a different route to what you might be used to in Classic. We've taken Tails' route, effectively. And one of the nice things in Sonic 3 Air is the developers gone through and opened up a few routes, got rid of a few trolley springs and stuff. But one of the biggest changes is here in Death Egg 1, Tails' route is available to Sonic, which is around about 40 seconds faster, actually, which is a very, very nice thing for them to have done. And big shout outs to Eukaryote, the developer of this, and all of the Sonic 3 Air community. We absolutely love you guys and what you've been able to do for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's incredible, like, how the game has developed over time. You know, when it first started out as a speed game, it was like, it's been very nice watching its growth, you know, from like just a few people playing it to the community it has now. Hud's getting this nice setup here with the lightning shield to bounce on top of Red Eye, trying to dodge those spikes and stay on top. Managing to finish off those orbs relatively quickly though, not too much of a problem. Now he's going to go for a setup off of these platforms to try and get Red Eye's platforms to stay in place. Lovely. Oh, lovely. So by bouncing from left to right, you can get a beautiful kill like that, getting those platforms to go back to the left and the right, trying to second guess which way Sonic is going. And now for the final FPR. If Huds gets this, we skip the entirety of Act 2.
Oh, I'm a frame late. Okay, we're doing Act 2.
Oh, unfortunate. Yep, this is probably a more cinematic ending for the marathon anyway, right? It's probably more...
Yeah, we're doing it for the cinematics, it's fine. I'm not gonna lie,
absolutely.
I haven't done Act 2 in so long, I can barely remember how to run it.
It'll be fine.
It'll be good.
I've never not done it in a run, so I can give you directions, I guess.
Oh, that'd be great. Which way am I going?
Well, you're upside down, so left. Oh, you're right. You're the right way up. We're going right now. Okay, just hold right.
Just hold right. That's the thing with the Sonic game. Just go right. Just go right really fast.
Yeah. Just go right, or if you're upside down, left. One of the two.
It's fine. We're doing absolutely fine for time at the moment. It's not a problem.
Yeah, these spikes, by the way, shout outs to them. They are trying their best.
Trying the best, but sadly don't do much.
That was a smooth little jump through there. I like that. That's cute. Hud's going for the big jump. Not quite getting it, sadly. You can get up there without the lightning shield, but it's quite tricky.
Right, gonna jump over this one, under these two. Wait for Tails. So, because we didn't get FPR, I kind of lied. There is one more glitch you're going to see. We're going to do another partner clip. This one, for some reason, seems to be a lot harder than the others, and there is a very specific setup for it. So, we're going to spin dash Tails onto here. I need to line him up exactly where I want him, which I think is there. And for some reason, this one out of all of them is the most picky with your jump. But we got it good.
Beautiful.
Hold left. Nice. And we just skipped around about 30 seconds of the stage there. And we grabbed another lightning shield for good measure.
Yeah, straight down to the final path towards the kind of penultimate boss. We have a sub-boss and then a main boss in this stage. And that's the reason why it saves so much time as well. It's these two bosses, particularly the second part, is very, very drawn out.
Here we have Uwu Ball.
Uwu Ball.
Uwu.
The normal sound effect for this just sounds like an uwu noise, so he's been affectionately named Uwu Ball. The way you're supposed to do this is you've got to hit the enemies into him, and you can do that by either spin dashing into them when they're upside down, or by having them go up and down into the boss using the gravity changes. It's actually perfectly set up if you just spin dash from one side to the other every time he drops one. So long as you do it consistently from the start, you'll always be able to hit him, and it's relatively trivial. Should be coming up to the last hit now, I think, if I've counted right.
Correct.
I can count. Fantastic.
Crab, Alice can count. Crab.
Crab, Alice can count.
Okay, so here's the final boss. There's 3 stages to this. We have the finger stage at the beginning, then the laser stage, and then Robotnik running away. I don't seem to have a good track record of doing this boss in marathons, so this will be interesting regardless.
Fingers crossed, Huds.
Every time I've got FPR and then come to do this boss for fun afterwards, I have always died. So, we'll see.
Yeah, so Hud's trying to set up to get as many hits on these fingers as he can with
cycle.
both Sonic and Tails. So, decent full cycle there. Good to see.
Tails don't
now,
troll me.
You can one cycle this section. I don't know if Huds is going to go for that or if he's just going to go for a more consistent setup.
Oh, Tails, why?
Oh, Tails. No, Tails. Oh.
Why, Tails, why? I told you, it's almost a requirement for me now. I have to fail that boss at least once in a marathon. It's just necessary, you know?
So the presence of Tails in this boss is probably the most infuriating thing, because while he can be like a big help, he can also activate the boss's iframes when you jump into that pit to the other side and really screw the whole thing up. So
it's fine. We've got 15 lives. We've got plenty more attempts at this.
Yeah, the only downside is that Huds now has to do this with 0 rings and no lightning shield, so it's going to be slightly more difficult. Tails just not getting any of those hits. Very rude of him. Getting that one, though. Huds playing very safe here, not going for the extra Tails hits. Oh, getting one there, though. Tails trying to ruin Huds' day again, but Huds isn't letting it happen. Right, now I'm going into, like, race commentary mode. I'm getting hype.
Let's go, let's go!
Now in the final phase here, getting a setup here to get extra hits with Sonic and Tails. Going for double hits here now to finish the boss as quick as possible. Should be one more set of hits, and the boss is going to be gone. And time is going to be when the screen is completely white.
And time. 40:37. Woo!
Fantastic. Really good run.
Tails costing me a sub 40. Typically. Now that was a really, really fun run, and yeah, it's a shame we didn't get FPR at the end there for a much quicker finish, but we did get to see it earlier on. It's just the way that it goes sometimes. But anyway, that is Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited. Sonic and Tails glitched. Alice, any final words from you at all?
Shout outs to, just the whole Sonic community in general. Particularly fellow Nux gang members. Okay, I know this has been about Sonic and Tails today, but I got to give a shout out to the Knuckles. Run wouldn't be possible without him. He does press that button in Sky Sanctuary for you. Never forget, okay? But yeah, and shout outs to you, Huds, obviously, for having me here. It's been great fun.
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out as well to the Sonic 3 Air speedrunning community. Fantastic little community. It's definitely my home in speedrunning. To all the moderators there, to Ben in Sweden, to Nacho, and to Elite who look after the game with me and try and build it into a really fun community. A huge shout out as well to the Sonic speedrun community as a whole. I want to let you guys know that we are holding a Sonic Marathon coming up in a month's time, the 12th to the 14th of June, so you're going to see lots of Sonic if you want to come and see some more Sonic stuff. And Alice, I just want to say a huge thank you to you as well for coming along and doing fantastic commentary for that run. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I loved having you here.
Thank you very much.
Cool. And other than that, I'm going to hand it back to our host and let you guys carry on with the Speed Gaming Marathon. I'm just going to vibe.
Yeah, same. If they can still hear us, then this is the after party. This is the S3R after party. Welcome. Grab yourself a chair, put your feet up, get comfy.
HUD601. We appreciate that sonic run. I didn't go in that with the intention of making
HUD's
it rhyme. It just
providing
kind of happened. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about No Kid Hungry.
I can't tell if we're
No Kid Hungry.
still here or not.
That is a
We
charity.
could still be here.
And they are dedicated to providing meals for children in need, as well as supporting
Speedrun
food
files.
banks and community groups. Community groups that serve the areas hit hardest by the pandemic. They provide emergency grants and expert guidance to schools and local
Your
community
splits
groups
forever be red.
nationwide to help them feed kids.
Talk about the
To
decimal, they
decrease
can hear
food
us. Okay, so I'm
insecurity
buying like a corner
among
unit
children
desk
5 and
that I
under,
want to try and get
No
my
Kid
Genesis
Hungry
and
launched
my,
a new
my Xbox
early
on top of.
childhood grant program,
It's
distributing
quite good.
$3 million
After party's too
in
lit.
grants
Oh my
to more
God, they
than
can hear us. This is
120
amazing.
organizations
Let's
in
go.
keep on
34
vibing.
states
Where's the
and
cat
the
jams?
District of Columbia.
Where's the
cat
Now,
cat
these
jam?
Where's the cat
organizations will
jams, chat?
support
Come on.
170,000 children,
Should we be brigading
and
chat
4
for
out of
cat
5
jam?
grantees are active in communities of
The
color.
answer is yes, obviously.